Good evening. Welcome to Combe TV, episode 81. Still staggers me that we're still going. You lot are gluttons for punishment, aren't you? But welcome along to the show, and it's previewing the second race day of the season already. The May Day Madness on Bank Holiday Monday. The good news about this show is that if you weren't in the mood for it already, which I'd imagine you are, because Easter Monday feels like ages ago, doesn't it? It really does. Well, the good news is we've got guests that are going to whip you to a frenzy. There is no question about it. We are going to preview the events that are happening, have a look at our local championships. I've got to be honest, a series that I've been really excited about coming to Combe for the first time, the Modified Ford series. massive grid, so much power, so much noise, so much entertainment, such an eclectic mix of everything with the blue oval on the front, the famous blue oval of Ford. And we've got two of their guys, Paul Neville and Rob Lewis, that are coming on to have a look into that preview, what's going on, what we can expect, and get us really excited about that one. We've then got a slight change of personnel, but we've still got Golf Race Fuels coming on. Sadly, Jason, who was due to become on from SB Fuels, has not been able to. Family commitments dragged him away, but fair shout. Mark Gardner's jumped in from Golf Race Fuels itself, and he's going to come on. And we're just going to have a bit of a chat. Obviously, a big sponsor. What a cool name to be associated with. Two different championships as sponsors, and they're due to be at the circuit as race fuel providers, so you can get it at the circuit as well. So we're going to make sure you're aware of everything to do with Golf Race Fuels and our partnership with them and what you can get for them, etc. So it's going to get us into the mood. But of course, the most important part is all of you watching. Make sure you keep those comments, questions, whatever coming in, because it is about the interaction with you guys. That's what we love. Jake Warder was the first one in today. Hi, Chris Dawes Media. That's me. He's obviously looking at the other one. Evening, Jake. Good to hear from you, mate. Elliot Harris says, evening from the M25 car park. Oh, mate, I feel for you. Well, I hope we can keep you company and keep that road rage at bay, mate. You'll get through in the end, mate. I promise you. Stuart Tinker Taylor, the Fuffer Hardcore, the Camp Softcore. Good evening, Chris and Co. Looking forward to a great day of racing on Monday. See you there from a Fuffer-loving Camp Softcore fan. Dilly. If you insist, mate. You knew that this would be making an appearance as well, didn't you? Chin. The Amber Nectar. But dilly indeed, my friend. Our very own Emma, evening Emma Strawford. I hope you've got a French red on the go as well. And we'll see you on Monday in the newly rebranded media centre. It is now the Motul Media Centre. So welcome Motul back on board again, this time in a real cool way as well. So it is the Motul Media Centre that we've got there. The team have been busy again. One of our Orange Army, Chris Rea, evening all, evening Chris. Mike Cotton, one of our ever-present, great, ever-present. Yeah, that's the one. It's one of those nights. Evening Chris and all, evening Mike. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday, my friend. Another one from the mighty Orange Army, Gerald Howell. Good evening all. Evening Gerald. Ben, hello, mate. Hello, Dorsey, he says. Hello, Ben. You're watching on LinkedIn. That's what I like to see. Good to hear from you, mate. And I hope the new gig's going well for you, buddy. It feels like ages ago that we caught up in Birmingham, doesn't it? And we've got even longer to wait. I think we need to put an interim get-together in place because it's way too long. That's one of my fellow Theo Paphitis winning companies, and we get together once a year at the Theo Paphitis Awards and ceremony, which is pretty cool. Sarah Davis says, coming up with a few friends from Welsh Ford Owners Club. Looking forward to it, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. I think we got at least a nod from Rob Lewis down in my green room underneath me there. Yeah, he's nodding. He knows that we've got some of the Ford Owners Clubs are going to be coming up. In fact, Ben, who I was just talking about, we once had the license to make body sprays and deodorants with the Golf brand. Wow, fair dues. Careful, I can see Mark's looking at that and he's going, hang on, we've got to retalk this one, haven't we, Mark? We've got to retalk this one. Mike Good, one of our saloon car, our defending saloon car champion. Roll on this weekend. Can't wait to be back out. You might see someone else in the course on Monday in the hot hatch. I've let someone borrow it. Goodness me, Mr. Good. That's just showing off. You win the saloons one year, you rent it out to someone in the hot hatches while still trying to defend that number one plate. You're a legend, Mr. Good. That fair shout to you. Club Racing UK. Evening, Chris. Hope to see you Monday. Stefan. I hope so, because I'm looking at the entry list now and you're on it, mate. So we assume we're going to see you there, buddy. But I suppose that could be if I get the chance to wander around. But great to hear from the guys at Club Racing UK. Sue Woodland, evening, Sue. Evening, Chris. Please order some decent weather for Monday, please. Funny, Paul, you said that earlier. Paul Neville, he wants some decent weather. Rob shaking his head and doing a rain dance. I can see him. That's some moves, Rob Lewis. Paul Neville's going, no, I don't want any of that rain with the power he's got under his right foot. That's for sure. Tom Davis, another Orange Army from elsewhere around the country. Evening, Chris. Evening, mate. Papa Olden. Evening, Mr. Dawes and team. I bet you're loving it now, Carl, with Jake back out there racing and going well. Is he not like leading the Saloon Car Championship at the moment? The Hot Hatch Championship. I think he is. Well, he's joint leader, isn't he? Jake's joint leader of the Hot Hatch Championship, don't forget, this year. Adam Wilkes. Hi from Adam Wilkes in the red Peugeot 106. Looking forward to Monday. Look forward to seeing you out there, mate, and best of luck, buddy. John Ford. Fordy says, evening, Dawsy. Evening, mate. Look at this, Ben showing off. He's watching on the on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. Darren Griffiths, evening, all buzzing for my first ever race. Is he really? I'll have to try and make a note. I'm going to have to make a note of that now because there's so many on the entry list that I might have missed that. So that's Darren Griffiths in his first ever race. Best of luck, mate, and enjoy it. That's what you've got to really do. John Creechy, hello, mate. Hi, Chris. Agree with you on the modified fours. Always a good draw and no doubt fun to commentate on too. Yes, mate, yes. Hard work because there's lots going on throughout the entire field. Top guys, Leeward and Martin Reynolds in the entry too. Yep, indeed. There you go. Ben's confirmed he's now moved across to YouTube. Welcome to YouTube, Ben. It's the future. I tell you, Ben, it's the future, YouTube. Marcus Rainbow says, good day testing today with Harrison Chamberlain, ready for Monday. Fantastic. And good work on that suspension, by the way. It's great to see you up there and keeping the results. It's really cool. Wayne Bain Rushworth, evening, love. Waz, evening, mate. Tina Weston, of course, our Hot Hatch coordinator, evening all. I'm currently sorting spreadsheets for Monday. Bring it on. It's more work for you now, isn't it, Tina? Because it is the full-blown championship. You've got more to be, abreast of the whole time. But you're doing a fabulous job and look forward to seeing you on Monday. David Campion from Wiltshire College, obviously, the Motorsport College on the circuit grounds. Good day, sir. Good testing day today and looking forward to the weekend. Great to hear that. It was a bit damp for you, all the testing, wasn't it? But I'm glad that it's been useful for people. Dave Baggy Malpass. Good evening, Mr. Dawes. Hope you're well. And that's alcohol-free gin and slimline tonic. Did you laugh as you typed that as well, mate? Even Rob's a little bit sort of trying not to laugh at that possibility. I guess it's Rob, pack it in. But see you Monday. Absolutely, mate. The good news is that they still won't allow optics in my commentary box, so you're safe once I get up there. Ben says, have fun. Have to go rehearse for this damn show. Break a leg, mate. Break a leg. He's back on the treading the boards. Good luck with that, Ben. Great to hear from you, mate. And that's on Facebook now. You're just fully showing off. Andy Pipe says, looking forward to racing there after 15 odd years. Welcome back, mate. Look forward to that. Emma Strawford. I know someone asked for some good weather, and Emma Strawford has said, I'll have a word with the saviour of the circuit, the late, great Howard Strawford, of course, Emma's dad. Indeed, the saviour of the circuit. Yeah, have a word, Em. Let's get some sunshine on Monday. That will be absolutely wicked. Jason Stone Racing, good evening. Evening, mate. Courtney Wallace says, evening, Chris. Looking forward to hearing your dulcet tones on Monday. Careful what you wish for, Courtney. It'll just drive you mad by mid-afternoon, but look forward to it. Peggy Spackman says, hello, we'll be there. We won't mind a bit of rain. True. And if your other half, Ross, can do half as well as he did in the first meet, you'll have a cracking day, won't you? Jeff Gendall, evening, mate. Evening, Dawsey. Looking forward to Monday. Have a great to have the modifieds fours there. Can't wait. Ditto. I know exactly what. Guests, I will be with you shortly, I promise you, but there's a lot of comment. I'm just getting through all the comments here. Philip says, would be really great to have a live stream from these race events for people not able to attend. Totally get you. Totally agree. We touch on it regularly. The big problem is its cost. The cost is not insignificant and small, and of course, it's not something that gets charged for. So we're still working out if there's a way that we can get that wheedled in again and bring you those live coverages. I'll be honest, I'd rather you're at the circuit with us, guys, if at all possible. You know me. I love from the commentary box to interact with you all, and you keep messaging me on socials, and I'll give you shout outs when we're commentating on the full racer meet. So that's where I prefer you to be anyway. Caroline Sutton. Hi, Caroline. Evening all. Of course, at the end of May, we've got the Mark Sutton Memorial Race, haven't we? We'll preview that event as well later this month. So that means we'll have another show in, 3 weeks time or something, to preview the whatever the end of May bank holiday is called. But we'll have a look at that one as well. Stephen Carpenter, hello, mate. Looking forward to seeing the modified Fords at the local. Having followed them around for a couple of seasons, I can safely say those that haven't seen them before are in for a treat. I think the massive Combe crowd is going to absolutely love them. There's no question, as far as I'm concerned. Harrison Chamberlain, hello, mate. Glad to hear you've had a good test day today with the golf, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday. Our very own Kat Dalocco. All our love goes to you, Kat, and everybody always appreciates the amazing hard work that you put in to get the race days happening. And we thank you in advance, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday. I love this. Nick Ramsden, I'm assuming, Nick, you'll be up in race control, but his son, Thomas, is driving to Combe on Monday. He's just passed his test. Congratulations, Thomas, on passing your driving test. And he's driving. Good luck, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you there. And that's wicked news. It really is. Medic Mason, evening all. Hope everyone is out. Good to hear from you, mate. And obviously looking at your photo, if Josh is there, hi, Joshy. And of course, Emma, your absolute rock behind you. Evening to you both. Lewis Bird Motorsport, evening all. Here's to another great day's racing. My car's coming along nicely. Hurry up, mate. You've been saying that for ages. I want you back out on circuit. It'd be so cool to see. We're nearly there. Matt Coyle, the saloon car coordinator, says, evening all. It's lights out and go, go, go. It is, mate. It is. And you'll be in your happy place, won't you, on Monday, back with us. Evening, mate, says Craig Cook. And he says, Terry, the TT is alive. I told you, mate, relax. I knew that was going to be okay. But yes, Dave Spiller's Audi TT, after that monster impact up at Quarry Corner at the first race meet, it tested today. It's alive. It's kicking. It's back for Monday. So that is wicked news. Emma's grassing Harrison Chamberlain up, saying he's had a haircut, apparently. We'll wait and see that one. Philip, who was talking about the stream, says, understand that it's all about cost, but a bit far from Switzerland to attend each week. It's not each week, is it? It's once a month, maybe twice a month if you're lucky. But I'm only joking. I understand, Philip. I get that. And that would be good for you to be able to watch from there for sure. Goose, one of the Quarry Hardcore, evening, watching the darts and trying to listen here. You're a legend, mate. You're watching darts, but you're making sure you're listening to the show. That's commitment for you, Goose. I'm pleased to hear that one. Tim Fuchs Bale, evening, everyone. Hope we're all ready for Monday. I hope you're ready, Tim. Get you back out on circuit again. That would be cool. Courtney Wallace says, got to be the best value bank holiday day out in the Southwest. £10 early bird and kids are free. You know it, mate. You know it makes sense. It really, really is. And the last message I got up at the moment before I get the guests out, Baldrick Bryan says, evening, Gin Master. I nearly forgot that I had the gin there, didn't I? Evening, Baldrick. Good to hear from you, mate. So thank you all for coming. It's great to hear from you all. And it's great to hear that it's not just us that's excited. Oh, I will put one more that's just come up. Evening, Pete Spiller. We did just announce that Terry TT is back together and playing ball. That is wicked news. So I'll see you guys on Monday. We'll have some fun with that. I'll talk about it more once we get into the Saloon Car Championship. Right. That's it for now. I'm going to pause the catching up with the comments because I really want to start getting our guests out because we've got some exciting racing to catch up on. So the first one we're going to have a chat with is the modified Ford guys. We've got Paul Neville and Rob Lewis. So let's get them out and let's chat modified Fords. Gentlemen, good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dawesy.
Lads, so good to have you on, and hopefully you were listening to all of that and the excitement that's building for not just a race day, which we always get, to be fair, at Combe, but for the modified Fords there. I'm going to start with you, Paul. It's got to be so good to hear that appetite for the modified Fords coming to a popular circuit.
It is very much, and I hear it more and more often. The more people that become aware of who we are, it seems to be exploding. The amount of loving that we're getting. So it's all good.
And we see in the background there is that you actually get out there racing as well yourself.
I do. I have sort of campaigned in every season that we've been running. It's hard work, coordinating and racing, but that's what I do. What I love to do. So that's the most important thing.
So you're the coordinator for this. I should have asked all of this beforehand, but we'll have the conversation live on air. Why not? Did you set this up as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the case, and the problem was I questioned myself. And Rob, you must do that yourself when you're on the mic. Is as soon as you question yourself, there's no return, is there?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's it. You're up the creek without a paddle.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to just go with the live question. So you set this up, Paul, and in essence, it is what it says on the tin. It's everything Ford is welcome into this series.
Mostly, we sort of cap it. I wanted to keep it sort of semi-classic, so we sort of stretched it to 2013, and we're sort of leaving it there. So we encouraged the more classic cars in.
Do you know what? That still gets me, because I did read that, which is why I just went, oh yeah, it is that. But to me, in my head, 2013 wasn't very long ago. But it blooming well was. It's 11 years ago now, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Scary.
I know. But you get these dates, and in your head, it's like, oh, yeah, that wasn't very long ago. And you go, no, it really is. It's a long way away. Where did, Paul, then, this love for Fords come from?
Well, I've been racing Fords, for over 30 years. I've been racing this car since 1991. So I've always raced Fords and raced in Ford Series championships, and I just believe there was space to offer something to the guys that that wanted to race.
Absolutely, and I mean, what is that beast behind you?
It's a genuine RS2000 custom.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, well. It was genuine. It's a bit like Trigger's broom, so it's. But it's still got the VIN plates on the slam panel, so I've still got those plates sticking around.
Good. Yeah, I mean, a big challenge you've got though, Paul, clearly, is that we're hearing it more and more with some of cars like that one behind you there, is that they can be more valuable returned to road-going cars, and that is causing an issue in the racing scene in some places.
It does, doesn't it? I think if you're a racer, you want to race them. Yeah. If you want a stock car and just look at it and take it to shows, and the thing is, luckily enough, they made a lot of them back in the day, so you can have one or the other, can't you? And some of the cars that they're reviving now, it's unbelievable what they're picking out of an old barn and fixing up.
Well, I mean, it's like we look at some of the prices we were getting for like Sierra Cosworth recently and stuff like that. The figures are just astronomical. Yeah, my brother-in-law's got an Escort Cosworth, and he really looks after it, and it's garaged and drives as and when appropriate. And apparently, he could sell it and buy a Lamborghini with the money from it.
Yeah.
And it's
that wouldn't surprise me.
It's unbelievable, though, isn't it? It is bonkers. And I mean, I'm just sort of like briefly looking at that. We got an RSR out there. We've got Cosworths. We got Zaxby's. We got such a variety of things there that any of them that are legit, genuine. That we had it with the Porsche Club. There's some of the classic Porsches that they were trying to race, and they just couldn't get the numbers because they were too valuable when they were returned to road-going cars.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a tricky one. So that's why I guess where I'm coming from is that we got to be so appreciative that these beasts are coming out. And they don't have to be all stock, do they? As in they're not necessarily in their original guise.
I think the ownership is we wanted to, for the spectators more so, I wanted to make sure that all the cars were production in appearance. Yes. So so as long as people could recognise, the spectators could recognise what car it was, and we put them in simple class structures, so you'd know if the car's a turbo, it's in a turbo class, or if it's like a 2-litre class, or like a normally aspirated class. So rather than having sort of turbo cars in 4 different classes where the spectators didn't know what was going on, the turbo cars are in one class, so you can identify them instantly. That's a Sapphire Cosworth or a Sierra Cosworth, and they know they belong together. Where sometimes they're all split up into hundreds of different other classes.
Yeah. Which I can also tell you as a commentator, we appreciate that as well, mate.
Yeah.
But you suddenly throw things like Simon Light's Capri with a 5-litre Cobra V8. That's not stock. But they're they're amazing cars to be out there. I mean, Rob, speaking to you, first of all, not necessarily from the modified Fords angle, but as a fellow media junkie like myself, is that we get excited about not just the passion that there is for the blue oval cars, but when you get some kind of beast like that with a 5-litre grumbling Cobra V8 in it, it just gets your imagination.
Exactly. And I'll be honest, I count myself very lucky in the fact that, as well as racing in the series, I've been fortunate enough at times I've commentated on it when I've not been, when the cars had issues or whatever. So, and I mean, the likes of Andy McHugh and Scott Woodwis, every time we get together at a circuit, they want to talk about the modified Fords because it's a bonkers series to be a part of. And Paul, Chris Baker and Jay do a fantastic job of trying to keep a lot of racers in the blue oval happy, which is a tough job in any championship. And you say about the mixture, I mean, Simon Light's Capri, I mean, that's been going for absolutely years. He just had an article in Autosport talking about how that car's evolved. Paul's car's evolved over many years. There's so many cars up and down the grid that have been, I mean, I'll take my car as a brief example. It's not the ultimate of what it could be, but my car started as a 600 quid MOT failure. I did Group N style racing with it, and I've now this year fitted it with an EcoBoost engine, and it's now nearly 300 horsepower, all fiberglass, and it's couldn't be any further removed from the road going version. And there's a lot of that happens up and down the grid. I mean, even down to Class C, the likes of Dave Barrett, Gary Littlewoods, Kevin Hatfield, the workmanship that goes into those cars. They are, like the series says, they are truly modified, but it's, great series to be a part of. And it doesn't break the bank either.
That's an interesting one, actually. So I'm not sure who the best person is to aim this at. So how I guess I need to aim this at you, Paul, is that how do you try to make it so that it isn't just checkbook racing?
Racing's always checkbook racing. There's always somebody that's got more money than the other person. I mean, what I try and do, I try and treat everybody evenly. There's not anybody that gets any preference or any special treatment. And what we do, because obviously the guys that spend the money, often, have the fastest engines and the freshest tyres. So what we try and do, we try and offer stuff for the guys that are on a budget that may not be on the podium. So, we have certain prizes and things through sponsorship, and so we offer them. We try and offer them cheap racing. I mean, everybody gets cheap racing, so it's not just directed at the guy that can't afford it. It's blanket. Like I say, we treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
So cheap racing, and we give prize money, which is, say prize money. So we get a free prize draw where we offer them cash back so they can get money off an entry and stuff like that. And that's done free, so everybody gets the opportunity of getting that as well. So it's nothing worse than going racing. The guys at the top are always on the podium getting the trophies, and the little guys, they're just making up numbers. You've got to offer them something as well, something that everybody wants.
Exactly. And I mean, Rob, I guess from now with your racing head on, is that the beauty is that it's all about the class, isn't it? And that's how you cater for the big beasts are in one class, and down to the standard Fiestas or whatever are down in another class, and you can win things in your own respective classes.
Exactly. And everyone on that grid, I mean, there's going to be 41 cars that turn up on Monday. Anything from, and it's going to be anything from Escort Cosworths and Maxi Cosworths down to a Ford Fiesta ST 1.6 or a Ford Puma. Each one of those cars in the grid has got something to aim for to win, and they're in with a very good chance of getting class honours. But I mean, I'll add to the point with Paul in the way we do it with the money scale. The bit that attracted me to the series, because I do it on a budget, is the sliding scale we have with the entry fees. So what it does is it does two things. It gives cheaper racing because, Paul, bang on, there is no such thing as cheap motorsport, but it makes it more cost effective for us, and it encourages entries. So we have a sliding scale. Everyone chucks in their 100 quid deposit, and they commit to around the more commitment we get by the 2-week deadline before a race meeting. So, for instance, for Castle Combe, we've got 41 entries. That means the entry fee for 3 15-minute races is £325.
Right.
That in the, we've got cost of living, everything else going on away from the world of racing. This is our release. This is our enjoyment, our hobby. And that to me is just as important as getting the results on track, is the fact that I'm going racing on a good budget with all my mates. The paddock's got a fantastic vibe as well. Plus, you're sat on the grid looking around you at the machinery you're racing alongside sometimes. And you think, how did I end up here?
Yes.
I really hope, especially the faithful that are down at Quarry on Monday, I hope you guys enjoy the view of 41 screaming Fords coming towards you, because it's going to be fun.
Do you know what I have to say is that I everybody knows that I am always really humbled and know that I'm privileged to be a commentator, and it is so special to be in the commentary box and getting excited about the racing I'm watching. But the one thing I still miss to this day is sitting at Quarry Corner and you guys with that whole field launching up towards me. Oh my God, it just gets the hair on end again, and it's just going to be incredible. Just quickly pick up on a couple of the other comments coming in. Nick Workman says, evening, looking forward to seeing you all in an unofficial capacity roll-on rescue unit. Lord James says, Lloyd Jameson, I lauded you then, buzzing to race for the first time at Castle Combe this Monday. Much love from... Good, looking forward to that. Drewster, another one of our Orange Army, evening. Sarah Davis says, awesome car behind Paul, love a fast Ford. Sarah has a Focus Mark II ST herself, so she's loving your car, Paul, which I'd imagine that's quite common to hear as well.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of those. There'll be a couple of those with Stefan Marsh and James. Well, James isn't an ST. His is a Mark II Focus RS, so there'll be a pair of them for her to support.
And remember that the paddock is open. So, Sarah, when you get up there, go and wander around the paddock. You'll be able to see it all up close and personal. It'll be amazing. Andy Abrams, another one of our racers. Evening, Rob, Paul, and Chris. Have a good one Monday. Glad to hear it, mate. Sorry that you missed the second race, although it was rather wet, the second race on the weekend at Cadwell. Goose from Quarry says they were great years back. So good to have. So good they are back, especially after watching the Brands round. So absolutely delighted. Although officially it's the first time that they've been here. We'll be setting lap records this time. Duncan Harris is just rubbing it in now, saying he'll be at Quarry. I mean, it will just be incredible. The photos and videos will be just awesome to see that coming up. I'm going to ask a weird question before I go to the entry list. I'll put it up on screen in a second. Think about this. Rob, what is your favourite car on your grid?
Oh, now you put me on the spot.
And Paul, get ready. It's coming to you as well, Paul. So I think
it's got a couple of facets to it. The driver is an absolute gentleman, and he has just commented on it. The car looks absolutely bonkers. It's got the fattest arches on it, massive rear wing, and loads of power. It's got to be Lloyd Jameson's Escort Maxi Cosworth. And I will point out, he makes the trip to our rounds all the way from Scotland. He makes the trip down, and he brightens up our paddock. If I was to pick any car in the field to have a good go at, it would be Lloyd's.
Wow, that's a compliment indeed. I'm going to have to make sure I meet you, Lloyd, when I'm down there, as well as seeing the car. That would be wicked. All right, Paul, I know you officially should probably say stay impartial, but I'm going to put you on the spot now. And you're not allowed to say your own. What's your favourite car on the grid?
That was my first answer, but there are a lot. I'm not, if I say something, I know that I've missed someone else. I mean, the car that I really like is Simon Light's. It's just pure muscle, and it just looks, it looks like a stealth spacecraft, doesn't it? It's just
it sounds
so
good.
Yeah, no, it's very, very, very good looking car.
No, I get that.
There's some lovely cars out there.
There is. I mean, I've got the entry list here. Just quickly put that Craig Cook says he'll be down Monday. He's just got it sorted. There you go. That's someone that was on the fence. They've got it sorted now, though. Let me just quickly share a screen. And I'm going to... What do I want? There we go. Let's share this one up. So let's have a look at this. So we've got the entry list. Going over the wrong side here. Let me put it in the middle. They're traveling from everywhere as well, aren't they? They really are. Sorry, I'm having a problem here with the trying to show it. Right, let's go right to the top. So we've got Wayne Crabtree in a Mark 1 Escort, Mark 4 Fiesta of Dave Barrett, Escort Mark 3 RS 1600 of Chris Baker, Fiesta 2006 from Alex Bone, Martin Reynolds. We always see him out in his Escort Mark II. That's a guy that just races it wherever he can, basically, doesn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Same with Malcolm Wise as well in his Escort Cosworth. We see that everywhere. Mike Thurley in his Zaxpeed Mark 1 Escort. I mean, how cool is that? Ben Purnell, St Austell, it's where the in-laws live. An RSR Escort Mark 1, Jeepers Creepers. An RS 2000 of Paul Neville. I bet that's white with a blue stripe on it.
You got it.
We've got Mike Manning in his RS 500, so that's really cool that we're going to see that out as well. A pair of Mark 1 Escorts of Gary Johnson and Andy Pipe. Local boy Josh Payton out in his Cortina Mark II, so we get a Cortina out there as well. Escort Mark II. So he's in my neck of the woods. I'm in Swindon at the moment. Matthew Brennan in his Mark II Escort. A Focus Mark II of Stefan Marsh, of course, from Club Racing UK. Oliver Bullion, Fiesta ST150. A Mark 1 Escort of Piers Warwick from Biggin Hill. Neil Argrave in his Mark II variant. The Fiesta Mark 4 of Tyler England. Piers Grange in his Escort Mark II. That's that incredible silver one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a beast. That was flying on the weekend, although he disappeared for the second one, so I'm hoping he didn't have a problem, but he was absolutely flying in race 1. Fiesta 2005, David Guthrie, Tom Abbott in his Capri, 2.9 V6 variant of that one. Daryl Taplin in a Mark 5 Fiesta. There we go. Lloyd Jameson in the Escort Cosworth Maxi. Gosh, it's only a 2-litre turbo. An RSR Escort Mark 1, Tom Ovenden, Fiesta SE, Gary Littlewood, Kevin Hadfield in the Puma, Focus RS, 2-wheel drive of James Allen, Escort Mark 1 Zaxpeed, Colin Claxton, another one that just races absolutely everywhere, Dave Matthews, Sierra Sapphire Cosworth, Nigel Craig in an Escort Mark II, Mark 6 Fiesta of Leroy Brown, Simon Light in that 5-litre Cobra V8 Capri that we love, Rob Lewis. Oh, don't worry about him. No, Rob Lewis.
I wouldn't.
In his Focus ST170. I mean, it just is a wolf in sheep's clothing. When you see that next to it and go, 1.6 EcoBoost, you go, oh, okay, well. And it's just a wolf in sheep's clothing, that thing, isn't it, Rob?
I'll try my best. I mean, there's a lot more better built cars in the series, but I'll do what I can with the budget I've got. And we've had some fun this year at Silverstone and Alton Park, and I'm looking forward to it, Coombe.
Which, Paul, I've got to pick up. Is there the words you want to hear? Is that we're it's about people going out there and having fun driving cars they love.
It is, yeah, and it's not just the racing. It's the whole it's the whole 9 yards. You know, it's the community. You know, all being full drivers. You know, we sort of stick together. You know, we know each other. We have groups. You know, help each other out. You know, my experience with racing with multi marks is that you tend to find, you know, the BMWs stick together, or the Vauxhalls will stick together, won't talk to you. Whereas us as a community, you know, it's nicer. So we go and, you know, sometimes we book a restaurant for like 40 people, and you know, we all get together. It's just a great, it's a great, you know, social event as well. It's not just the racing.
100%. I mean, who knew that there was a Vauxhall hood and a BMW hood in the paddock? But it sounds like segregation is in full effect. Who knew? Yeah. Sam Shimwell, Fiesta ST150, Focus Mark 1 ST170 of Adam Underhill, Jay Hinton, Focus Mark 1, Fiesta Mark 8 of Cliff Pellin. I'm sure he races quite a few places. Fiesta ST180 of Todd Garner, Lee Wood in the RSR Escort Mark 1, and then last but by no means least, Mick Head in his Escort Cosworth. I mean, just incredible.
You look back at that entry list, and one name you reeled off there, Tom Ovenden, who last weekend was at the British Touring Cars racing minis. And I have it on good authority. He does do that to warm up to racing the Modified Ford Series. So it's nice to see him sort of using the mini challenge as a sort of a warm-up act for the main event.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a given, isn't it? To be fair, we all know that's going to be the case. I mean, from a commentator's perspective, and Rob, you can relate to where I'm coming from. This is that you sit there and go, "I'm going to have so much fun with that on the mic. It's just going to be. I'm going to be exhausted, absolutely exhausted after that." And you've got 3 races, Paul, out with that field.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as I said to you before, we were due to have 51 cars, and we were going to split them up into 3 groups of 17. So still 3 races, but we're going to get all 51 cars on track. But we're Ford owners, so we don't expect miracles, do we?
No. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes come race number 3, of course, in terms of how many are there.
Yeah.
But just an absolute treat that we're going to have that out there, and it just must fill you with delight when you see us, working our way through a grid, not just of those numbers, but of that caliber and variety.
Yeah, I mean, all the cars there, there is a sort of standard that, we want the cars to be presented. We don't want some old banger turning up. We try to have like exceptional driving standards because our cars are very valuable. Whether it's an RS 500 or a Fiesta, the cars are immaculately presented, and their own budget may be, but everybody spends so much money on their cars. Driving standards are paramount, and car preparation is something that's key to the modified Fords.
Well, I know one of our clerks, Dave Weston, says, looking forward to Clark in the modified Ford, the Sports 2000 sessions. Of course, the Sports 2000s have a very big Ford link as well, don't they? On Monday, got to get through a 750 Motor Club meeting at Thruxton on Saturday first. Well, good luck with that, Dave Weston, and we'll see you at the other one. Another one of our Orange Army says, Tim Perry says, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Looking forward to Monday. Dilly, dilly. Dilly, mate, indeed. Obviously, this is not your first race of the season. You started in March on the Silverstone International Circuit. And again, just massive grid. And Dave Cockle took both of those victories in his Escort Cosworth. I didn't say that name, did I?
No, he's not there.
No, he's not this one.
No, okay, so Dave's not out there, so he's not going to follow up those 2 victories. The good thing is, though, this is a series, isn't it? Not a championship.
Yeah, it's a series of races.
Don't you find the irony, Paul, is that the series element is because then it's you're not feeling that you have to commit to every single round. Let's do the maths of how many do every single round, though. It's always the irony, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think it's a bit muddy in between championship and series. It's a bit of a muddy puddle, isn't it?
It is. Do you have something unofficially at the end of the season, like the most winningest driver or anything like that?
Of course we do. We have to recognise the people that supported us. So we do a count up. An unofficial count up. Of course we do. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that one. You then went to Alton Park as well in last month, and Jim Hutchison won both of those ones. And what's it? As soon as they win, they're not allowed to race again. Is that how it works?
No, he came over from Ireland to race with us, so it's a little bit. So he came over from Ireland. It's a little bit special for him, and his car is a very, very serious bit of kit.
Oh, it's a rocket.
RSR, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's a regular at Kyrgyzstan.
Okay, fair enough. And in fact, Tom Ovenden got a pair of seconds there as well in his Escort Mark 1 RSR. So we expect them to fare strongly. One of the things I also wanted to make very, very clear is that thanks for this information, Paul, because otherwise I'd have missed this completely. Sponsor for the Castle Combe rounds is Roger Matthews, big supporter at Combe. He's well known in rallying and other types of motorsport, but he's never been a circuit racer. But he's been convinced to book his ARDS test just next week, by the sounds of it. Is that then to get out racing with you guys or something different?
No, as far as I'm aware, to come out with us. He was so infused with he knows a few of the guys in the modified Ford, Jason Davis and Mike Thurley. So he's got sort of roots with them, and he's got some cars, and he thought, well, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I want to have a piece of that. So he's booked his odds in, and and he's no spring chicken. So, so we look forward to seeing him.
Well, neither of the cars, so that's fine. It's all good. And of course, that actual sponsorship, although we're talking Roger Matthews, that is RJ Matthews Haulage. And it's perfect that he's sponsoring the rounds at Castle Combe, because that's Hereford way, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
That's really, really cool. Now, the other bit of information that I'm going to share, which actually is with a huge dose of envy, if I'm brutally honest, is that your final race of 2024 is over at the Navarra circuit in Spain. Now, that's the new circuit that MSV have purchased and are doing up and putting the typical MSV liquor paint and everything else over that thing. And obviously, the plan is to get more and more of the UK Club Series and international national championships and international things from the UK over there racing. And you're going over there 5th to 6th of October to enjoy the sun in Spain. That fills me with envy.
Well, we like to have an away. I like to bring in an away day once a year. Last year we went to Spa, and we went there, and it was blisteringly hot. It was fantastic racing. So we like to try and do that once a year, where we try something different. And Navarra, it was something that I wanted to do. And with MSB, it's an MSB circuit, we spoke to MSV, and we could actually go out there without having to use the normal FIA equipment that you would normally need in other international circuits. If you go to Belgium or Spa, you need to have everything needs to be FIA, and that's quite a big expense for club races. Your seat needs to be in date. All your equipment needs to be FIA stuff. And for some people, and especially we did half-hour races, they needed to change their fuel tanks. It was quite expensive. Whereas with Navarra, we can do it under UK rules, and we've shortened the races to 20-minute races. So it's a bit like racing in the UK. You just got to jump on a ferry. We'd like to bring some international. We had a couple of international guys race with us at Spa, and we'd like some international guys to come and join us. Where they come from, Spain or Portugal, France. It would be great to invite some of the EU guys over. So it's just having the reach to find it. But we've got about nearly 50 people that have shown interest. We just now got to translate that into actual entries.
Committed.
So we're about halfway there.
That's good.
Halfway there.
You saving up, Rob?
Trying to. The only downside is I'm actually booked to go to Greece the week after, so I'll have to have a chat with the other half and see if I could swing the ferry costs.
Tell her that it's the same as going to a sunbed to get a base coat on your tan. That's all you're doing, mate. That's all you're doing.
leave it with me, Dawesy.
Yeah, good man. That's what I like to hear. I'm still waiting for the call from MSV to go over there and commentate for them, because obviously I commentate on a lot of stuff for MSV, and I'm hoping that we'll get to go over there. There was talk, because we met with the guys that are running it over there. Lovely, lovely people. And I think it's going to go places, and I think it's going to be a great partnership. So hopefully I'll get over there at some point. Tina Weston says that obviously her husband Dave Weston, who's going to be clerking, she's also going to scrutineering for the 750 Motor Club. She's looking for a day off on Sunday. I agree, good call. Tim Perry, when we said about Roger Matthews, says you're never too old.
That's the spirit.
I'll vouch for that.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree. There's no such thing.
I did just on that. I did make Paul Neville feel very old the other day, because he sort of said about you. So you started racing in '91, is that correct, Paul?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was born in 1991, so that's kind of the scale of the series and the drivers in it.
See, the bad news is, Rob, is that you've just alienated yourself from both of us, because I was born in 1986, so suddenly I feel old as well now. So, you're on your... In fact, I tell you what, there we go. He's gone, Paul. That's better, isn't it? I'm only joking, mate. We wouldn't do that to you.
I'd like to do that to some people sometimes.
Exactly. I've got the power, mate. It's all in the finger. Yeah. John Creech says, and the series is at Brands Ford Power Live in September as well. So you're...
Yeah, that's our feature race of the year, where we have 2 grids. So that's 68 cars potentially. Well, I think the first year we did it, we had 64 cars on the grid.
Something like that, wasn't it?
Well, let me just check, because I can tell you that's the 14th and 15th of September. I hate to tell you guys, I'll be there in the commentary box. I'm covering that event.
Fantastic.
So we're going to have some fun, boys. Definitely. That's the case. And I look forward to it. And that was deliberately, is that MSV were like, right, do we put Dawsey at, I think it's either GT Cup at Donington, which I cover a lot, or 4 Power Live, but they know that I really grab the festival events by the and have some fun with them. And that's that. You guys must love that one, because it's not just a race weekend, is it?
No, and it's local to me, so
no, it's one of those events where, I mean, we're never going to be lucky enough to race on a Toka package or a British GT package. Well, the Mod Fords have done it once, but it's the kind of event that draws in a crowd. So it's quite surreal when you're doing your green flag laps and you're just looking at how many people are on the banks at 4 Power Live, and it's like, wow, they've come here to see us. And you kind of step up to that and put on a bit of a show. So it's a great event to be a part of. We're looking forward to it.
I can imagine. You got to make sure that you get like postcards of your car printed, so that you can then sign them for people. That's what you got to do, boys. Don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate it. So you guys, you are the second qualifying. So you get underway at 8:55 bright and brisk in the morning for your qualifying session. 15 minutes worth of qualifying, then 3 races. Race number 2, we got 3 races before lunch on Monday, and you are the middle one of those 3, so 11:55. We've then got you race 5 at 2 and race 9 of the 11 race program at 4:35. So that's the 3 races that we get to enjoy from the modified Fords. Gents, I mean, hopefully you can feel the vibe that people are looking forward to this. And I hope that you can feel that welcome when you get to my beloved Castle Combe circuit. I know, Rob, you normally do, because we catch up when you've been there in the past, haven't we? And it's just going to be a good vibe. And I think, Paul, your drivers are going to feel that crowd on the bank when you get to Combe as well.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope the rain stays away, because obviously it's so much better day for not only the races, for the spectators and everybody involved, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, totally agree. Don't forget, by the way, you can nowadays get your tickets in advance, which saves you a bit of money. And because it's e-ticketing these days, that can go all the way to, presumably, that's right up to Sunday evening. I'll be honest and say I haven't double checked that, but it's normally the day before, because it's not about, it used to be like the week before, because they had to be posted out to you. E-ticketing has got rid of that. So get your tickets in advance, save yourself a little bit of bunts, and come along to an awesome day. And make sure you drop on to socials, normally at Dawes Racing, DAWES Racing on Twitter or X or whatever the hell we're supposed to call it now, is the easiest way. You can find me on social, on Facebook as well. Drop me lines. Tell me what you see and we haven't seen. Any shout outs, all of that. People that come to any circuit when I'm commentating know I love to have fun. I'm a spectator that has broken into the commentary box, and I lock the door behind me so you can't get me out. So let's do this together. That'll be the fun. Guys, you are going to enjoy it. Gary Littlewood says, thanks, Paul Neville, for his consistent effort in running this series. Love it. And that's backed up by the looks of it by Rob Lewis there as well. Gents, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed jumping on and promoting, and I look forward to seeing you guys Monday at Castle Combe.
Feeling spiritual.
Yeah.
I've not missed anything out, have I, Paul, that I should be telling people?
No, I don't think so, Chris. I didn't really mention the guys that sort of backed me up all the way. Chris Baker, and who's been with, we sort of started this together. He was my wingman, and again with Dave Barrett, Jamie Goff, and Mr. Lewis here. So it's all key. It's all part of it, isn't it?
100%, without question. Teamwork makes the dream work with every single time. So, gents, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Monday.
Let's go have some fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I hope that's got you in the mood, everybody. We're looking forward to all of that. Sarah Davis says, looking forward to Monday. You already were with your Ford link. Now I hope it's even more. Tim Fuchs Bell says, wow, looking forward to blue ovals on Monday. absolutely 100%. Before I bring my next guest out, thank you to those guys. I'm going to just quickly take us through, and it's just going to be in the order that I have them on my screen here. And it happens to be, let me add it back to the stage. We've obviously got the Sports 2000s are joining us, and this time it's actually their endurance race, a mini endurance race, to be fair. It means instead of being out twice, they're out once in a 50-minute, with some of them having driver changes, as you can see from that. I've already covered the Sports 2000s this season at Silverstone, and I have to tell you, they were absolutely epic. So, and don't forget, these are some of the quickest things that we'll see around Castle Combe. I say the fastest things that we'll see around Castle Combe. Did you all see the news that we now are officially the test location for McMurtry? They are going to be testing that bonkers electric race car that is just the quickest thing ever. And it's now the test venue is Castle Combe Circuit. I'm still holding out hope, and let's just say there's been discussions about it being a possibility, is that at some point at the season, as long as it can all be ratified everywhere that we can do this, is that we might see it running during a race weekend, you know, out of session during the lunch or something like that. Of course, it won't count as an official lap record, but doesn't stop it being fun to watch it, does it? There is talk that this thing might go quicker round the current formation of the circuit than it was the quickest lap when it was pre-chicanes. Imagine that. Just compute that for a moment. It's potentially going to go quicker, including through the 2 chicanes, than the pre-chicane lap record. Unbelievable. And yes, I know it won't officially count, but I was going to say petrol heads. That's the wrong thing to say, isn't it, really, for that car? But it's just a bonkers piece of kit. And yeah, Mark's nodding his head. Am I swearing, Mark, talking about this electric car? Yeah. Mark from Golf Race Fuels is like, no, get it out. We don't want it. But it's just the engineering of that thing is just incredible, and it's going to be great. Before I move on to this, Goose says that is insane. I don't know that's definite, but I'm hearing the rumours, and they're not even able to crank it up to full chat because, frankly, the driver's gone, no, there's not enough runoff. I'm a bit freaked out by going full chat, but it's still going to be a phenomenally quick time. Right, Sports 2000s, they are with us. So we've got a cracking grid out there as well. That is it. Everything from Duratec A's, Duratec B's, the DBs, the historic B, historic C. There's a few missing from that, but that's because of it being the Enduro that it's going to slightly change. But you see, we've got some second drivers out there. One that has just put a comment on that I'm going to draw attention to here, Colin Peach. He is out there now. Him out in his Van Diemen RFS02. He got his first outright victory at Silverstone. The guy was buzzing for a day and a half. It was so cool to see. It was so nice to be able to interview him on the Sunday. Saturday I was in the box. Sunday I was doing the interviews. And he made it 3 podiums out of the 3 races. So well done, Colin. That was such I found it quite emotional having you out there achieving that as well. And he just couldn't believe it. There was a lovely onboard footage of him as they told him as he pulled in that he'd got this outright victory. It's just going to be wonderful to see you, and I hope that there's like this monkey off the back feel and you'll keep going. But Michael Gibbons, defending champion, he's back out there in his MTR. We got a couple of guns out, Adrian Ridge and Tom Stoughton. Tom, of course, a previous champion. He's having a few problems. There is a newer model and they're trying to just get these issues out. You've got these MCRs have got the new bodywork on it that was actually an ex-Ferrari aerodynamicist that has designed this new bodywork for them. And honestly, the speed is just ridiculous. They are so good. It's got more air, is able to pass instead of it being certain areas that were blocked. They're sort of like winglets and opened up, and it's just really impressive pieces of kit. A great mix of them there. Goose has actually said that James and Tony Barwell are looking forward to it. Now, I did just see them. Where did I see them? So there's Tony Barwell. And of course, James Barwell, the teammate. So the Barwell Property Services guys, they're out in the 77 car. These ones are obviously going to do driver changes. Mike Turner and Clive Hayes, that's a cool one to see together as well. So that's the Sport 2000. As I say, it is their second event, 3 rounds at the first one, so they're into round 4 here. Dave Allan Trophy. Now, this is obviously the thing that we do every single year, the Dave Allan Memorial Trophy, an ex-test driver for Honda, test and race driver that sadly we lost some years ago now, but thankfully we still do this, and it is basically anything that is GT, saloon or sport car, not sport racing cars, are able to be out on this. And we've got a good grid. You know, we've got some that are sharing it as well. You'll see with extra cars. And I think there's possibly 1 or 2 other changes that have maybe been notified. We've got a relay one going on here as well. Harrison Chamberlain out in his Golf, Tom Hanks out in his Renault Megane. That can happen as well. Dylan Popovich out in his Ginetta from the GTs. Dan Ludlow out in the MG ZR. That's cool, with Stuart Emmett. Roger Owens out in his Hyundai Coupe. Steve Cohen in a Lotus Elise. Matthew Brennan in the Ford Escort Mark II. That makes sense. Local boy out in the modified Fords, and he's out in this as well. James Ford in his MG ZR with Gav Mills as well. Dave Roberts in the Datsun 240Z. Matthew Stockdale and Alan James, of course, Team Dynamics Motorsport. Alan James was always involved with Dave Allan as well, so it's always an emotional day, and that's with the Audi RS3 LMS car. We've got the Mini Cooper of Steve Bracegirdle. He races everywhere, doesn't he, as well? Every race he can at Combe will be out in it. Jamie Sturgis out in, is that right? Out in a Honda Civic with Ian Knight. And I have been told that might be car number 88 rather than 99. 130, Gavin Dunn in his BMW. Chris Everall in his Ginetta. Dave Marcus in his BMW. And then in the 888, David Graham is sharing that with Ben Scrivens. So that is the final race of the day, is the Dave Allan Trophy. 40 minutes with pit stop, cash prizes, all that sort of thing as well. Right, I'm going to jump onto this. I'm going to stop it there. Thank you for the private message, and I've got to get this in quickly. Sorry, Mark, I didn't realise. We are going to bring up now Mark from Golf Race Fuels. Apologies, Mark. My fault is that once I get going, there's no stopping me, is there? But you know that about me anyway.
How you doing, Chris? Good to see you this evening.
Good to see you, mate. Thank you for stepping into the breach for this one, my friend. I've known you for quite a few years in various guises and all sorts of things with of course with Tom. I think we jumped onto during lockdown some kind of quiz night or something like that online.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was a great fun evening for sure. Yeah, it was really good, and
there's quite a few drinks involved in that.
yeah. Not that I remember. No, really, no. Yeah, no, there was.
So, Mark, your Golf Race Fuels, I mean, everyone knows that famous livery, the famous colour scheme, everything like that. It feels to me that Golf Race Fuels have really gone for a resurgence here, putting in extra effort. Is that a correct perception?
Yeah, see, what happened to us was we launched 2 weeks before COVID happened. We didn't know it was coming, put a big launch into it. So, I think now our motto is back to the front. I think is actually one of our taglines. So I think that's where we really are heading with it for sure. For 2024, million one, definitely the case.
No, and it makes sense. And I mean, I have to thank you for your support at Castle Combe, because you're now sponsoring the GT Championship and the Formula Fords. That's
correct. Yes, we are, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And the plan at least is that I'm going to just say you guys, just to make it the collective thing, there with the race fuels available at the circuit on race days as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't want to see you anyway.
Yeah, sorry, I apologise. Yes, yeah, that is definitely the case, and also the circuit will be stocking the race fuel themselves to sell to people on testing days and things like that. So if we're not even ourselves available, the fuel will be available directly through Castle Combe via their shop, which is a really good move forward. Really allows us and to them to support the races.
And give us, the uninitiated like myself, what is different about golf race fuels?
Okay, so I'm going to go with an analogy that people may understand and maybe a little easier. So think about an athlete, okay? An athlete eats a particular diet, needs a particular diet to perform its best, perform their best. Take Usain Bolt. He's not going to pop down a greasy spoon every Friday morning. So I think that's how I can only put it in a manner that matters, that is relatable. So running a pump fuel, no brands intended, but just a pump fuel, is not feeding your athlete, your car, what it needs to do to perform its best. I think that's probably the most basic way of putting it. I think that makes sense. So race fuel is blended from very pure base stocks, has very high quality components. There are chemicals that we add to introduce oxygen into the system to make the cars perform as best possible from what you're putting in it. Now, to gain the most from race fuel, yes, it's best to have the engine tuned and mapped to it for sure to get the benefits from everything that we are giving you within our formulations for the fuel. One of the important parts of that is the oxygenation that we can add. It doesn't matter whether you have a supercharger, a turbocharger, or a naturally aspirated. There is only so much you can stuff oxygen-wise inside those cylinders by any of those methods. By adding an oxidizing agent to the fuel, we can introduce more oxygen into that chamber. So then that's where we can create you extra power from what you already have.
Okay, so that means that not only are you guys on site to be able to provide the fuel, is that presumably there's a whole load of advice that might be required by some people as well.
Oh, absolutely, yes, and we are there to talk to about it. The Jason is fantastic. Dave is fantastic. They'll both be really good to talk to. They know the products. They know what would be a great suggestion for you, and how to help you get the best from those products that you're going to put in your car. And it is a very hard sell sometimes, because I'll be honest with you, drive down the road and everywhere you see lit up in bright numbers is how much petrol should cost you per litre, right? Yeah. So it's a very difficult market. So here's another one of my favourite ways to describe to you. If you go into your Costa coffee machine, any coffee machine, they're all available. It doesn't have to be Costa. Whoever, okay? You're going to go in there and you don't think twice about buying yourself a coffee. Okay, so here's some great statistics for you about things like that, just to give you some perspective for costs, I think, which is really important, because things go by every day and people don't really think about it. And then when it comes down to buying a race fuel, then I'm not so sure. So you buy a coffee, it takes 4.5 cups of coffee, roughly, to make a litre. That costs you £15.75-ish for 1 litre of coffee. Jeez. Race fuel is a third of that price. And look how much more fun you can have with it. And you spend all that money on everything else in your car prep. The Ford guys were talking about it. How much prep goes in, how much these guys spend on things, how much it all works. And effectively, you're putting a greasy spoon into an athlete. And that's kind of, I think, the best way that I can describe it, without getting deeply technical.
No, and I mean, it makes sense, is that, even to someone that isn't, a racer and working on a car, it kind of makes sense. And everybody's chasing those tenths or thousandths of a second and what have you. And that could be throwing a whole load of money at a new engine or whatever, or reconditioning the engine, etc. When actually it's like, look, use the correct diet for your car and it will get you more, and it's cleaner, and it might need less refreshment and servicing of that engine and all those. And I guess my mind is there going, look, even if, say, Monday's race meeting, you haven't made that definitive decision that you're going to get Golf Race Fuels. Hopefully plenty of you are there, because this is great to have this partnership in place. Go and have that conversation with you, because it could trigger that what they do next after that race meet with their car that says, okay, I can't necessarily put it in right now because I need to map things and what have you, but it will get you ready for the next race meet to have this like beautiful racing fuel in it. Was that a fair assumption, assessment?
Yeah, absolutely, it is, for sure. And an important point is you don't need to map to it. You could just put it in on Monday, but to get the best from it, we do suggest you map.
Right.
We do the 99 that's available there, and we do the 102. The 102 is the one that carries the oxygen, the 102 that gives you the best bang for your buck, if you want to call it that, as an expression to use.
It sums up what happens to fuel, really, doesn't it? Bang.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Goose from the Quarry Hardcore says, just answered my question, as I wanted to use Golf 99 in my Scooby that he takes on like track days and things like that.
100%. Yeah, no problem at all. Buy it from the circuit, buy it from us, 50 litres or 25 litre drums, and you can put it in, and I promise your Scooby will like it a lot. It will like the 102 even better.
Yeah, absolutely. There, Goose. Get the 102 in there. That would be good. So I think, did I hear? So the circuit are stocking it even when you're not there. So actually, you can go and get it ahead of time, not just when you guys are there in person.
Yeah, so if there's a track day on, or they've got a testing day like they've just had, you can buy it from the circuit shop.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I mean, you know, for me personally, it feels like you as in Mark have been linked to Castle Combe for some time. So it's such a lovely marriage that's come back again, is that you're now with Golf, I say now, but as in this new relationship is Golf Race Fuels with us, but it's still, you've got that affinity with Castle Combe, and it's not just one championship, but it's supporting, not just sponsoring, but it's therefore supporting 2 of our local championships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have, as you say, I've had a long relationship with the circuit. I was really pleased to have this opportunity to bring some real support to it, and to all the races there too. And I want to reiterate a point the Ford guy said about the grassroots kind of races, those guys that work all month, work all week, put all their cars together and want to go and race them and really enjoy them. It's not always about the guy that's always on the podium. Love those guys, of course we do. But we really tried to help those guys that aren't quite on the podium, to try and help them get to the podium. We tend to say that we make fast things faster, and our fuel can be the difference between a podium and not, in many cases. But alongside that, we do prizes very much like those other guys. We do best presented team, the hardest working team for the weekend. We run all these kind of competitions, all these things, and we just give them to random people that we've seen over the weekend, or people have come up to us and said, oh, you see that guy, he's had to do all of this work. And so we also try and support people in many ways like that too, because we do believe that that's the future for us.
And I love that, because obviously, as you know, with me commentating all over the shop, is that we see those things pop up where it'll be, you know, maybe the fastest lap of the weekend, or it'll be the best presented, or it'll be the biggest, you know, the most sporting gesture of the week. All sorts of things that can happen, and it's nice to be able to recognise that. Sean Deacon, another one of our past champions, evening Combe family. I think I can still call it a champion, even though it's the Hot Hatches. It's a championship now. It was a series when he did it, but he did great guns. Do you get to come to Combe very much, Mark?
I will do as many as I can. Sadly, I'm not there this weekend, but I will be at the following one. Cool. I tend to go to as many events as I possibly can.
You're pulled thinly, aren't you, around the country, to be fair? It's really busy.
Yeah, I cover quite a large area, parts of Europe and Ireland as well. And so, yeah, I do as much as I possibly can. I don't have a weekend to myself over the summer periods at all. Winter is kind of like my holiday.
I know that feeling, bruv. You know it as well.
For sure.
Definitely. I mean, I love the Castle Coombe relationships that are put in place. Is that we've got Golf Race Fuels that can, buy you that time and the health for your car. We've got My Race Lab that suddenly introduces telemetry to the club races as well. I mean, it really looks like an exciting place to be, no matter what your level is. These things are there and available to us.
It's fantastic. It's really raising the bar. That's the way I see it. And I'm very
100%.
pleased that Golf were involved in that process.
No, I am as well. It's so cool to see you. Obviously, you know that I cross paths with yourselves and Golf Race Fuels at some of the other things that you're involved in supporting around the country. You and me get everywhere, don't we, mate? That's the...
We do. It's always a pleasure, Chris.
It is. Listen, I know I've got to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on, Mark. Apologies I kept you waiting for so long. But in fairness, I think, is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to get out there?
I just think really thank you to all the supporters that we have in the industry, particularly at Castle Coombe, the customers coming to use the fuel, buying the fuel, coming to talk to us. It all really matters. And it builds a whole picture for everything that's to come for everyone. And I'm just very grateful to everybody that supports us. And we can support you more. There's more you support us.
Which is why I want to reiterate is that even if you in your mind, you're not necessarily getting Golf Race Fuels on Monday, go and have a chat with them, find out more, because then you're making an informed decision. And I think, Mark, in reality, if they're going to say no, you'd rather that was from an informed position that they're still making that decision.
Absolutely, and not from perceptions or conversations or ideas that don't really have a lot of facts to them. And that's why I think I wanted to do the price comparisons with the coffees and talk about that, because it's a very important point to make. And also the feeding the car, the athlete and the greasy spoon, because it's one of the most overlooked parts of anyone's race program. I'll very quickly digress into a different group. There's a different group of people we look after, and they have £500 worth of goggles in a box, and yet squeeze at the price of fuel, but they've spent so much money on everything else. And to me personally, race fuel is the key to unlock all of the other investment that you have made in your racing program.
I agree. I mean, it makes complete sense, which is why it's great. That's why I know I'm harping on about it, is I love that you guys are there for advice as well as the fuel itself, because it's like, make sure that you get yourself over to the right thing. Question here from Tim Fuchs Bell: is the Golf Race Fuels classed as pump fuel, quote unquote?
The 99 is, yes, so it falls within most of those rules for a lot of racing. If you're going to run to the Blue Book Appendix J, then you can use our 102.
Okay. Do you know what that means for our local championships off the top of your head? Or not?
99, I think, for a lot of them. But there is discussions with some of the racers clubs to have Appendix J added so that people can benefit from the race fuel 102 and improve their programs.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. And that's where the conversations, and a developing conversation by the sounds of it, and that's why it's the long-term partnership is key that's in place. Goose has already said he's already got the sticker on his SKU for it as well. Us talking about being busy on weekends, Colin Peach says, must be worse jobs. I think both of us can agree with that, Mark, to be fair, can't we? Oh,
yeah, for sure.
It's a hard job, but we take one for the team. That's the big one. Mark, thank you so much for coming on, mate. As I know you said that you personally won't be there on Monday. The team will be, so go and have a chat with them. And I look forward to catching up with you in person again, Mark. I haven't seen you since Autosport Show, actually, have I now?
No, it's been a long time.
It has, so I'll see you 27th of May then, isn't it?
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. I really appreciate your time listening to us talk about race fuels this evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers, buddy. Absolutely brilliant to be in partnership with someone like Golf Race Fuels. I mean, how many times do you see a car in those famous cars and you go, it's got the Golf livery? It might not say Golf on it, but you still say it's the Golf livery. I know I do in my commentary. It's such a iconic livery and color scheme, and with great reason. It's very successful, so it's so cool. And I've got to say kudos to the team at Castle Coombe Circuit for securing that those sponsorship relationships and overall partnerships. of which you see when we do the rotating partners and sponsors on the background before and after the show, that we got some seriously exciting relationships. Let me go back to wrap up this show with quickly whipping through the entry list. So we've done the Dave Allan Trophy. That's going to be a wonderfully eclectic mix. The hot hatches, you'll see that it is, again, a very big grid. This is turned into championship. Class A, we've got John McMillan in his Fiesta, James Dyer Buffed on. Wicked. James is back out. That's cool to see, in his Honda Civic. Nick Gwinnett in his Renault. Jason Stack in the Clio. Fiesta of Julian Fisher. Graham Cox Clio. The Fiesta of Dan Rowe. George Kimber in the Clio. Sadly, we've lost Tim Adams. Liam Hopkins out in his BMW 318. I'm loving Liam's social posts where he's just like a kid in the sweet shop that he's actually out there racing. Welcome, Liam, and it's so cool to see that. Corey Webber, I think I may have seen he may be a late withdrawal. Tim Fuchs-Bell, we heard Tim talking earlier. He's out in his WAS Racing prepared Renault Clio. Mark Williams in the Clio. Joe Hathaway. There's a lot in Class A, isn't there? In his Clio as well. Class B, Ray Ferrari Nut Ferguson. Of course, he's out. We know Ray's going to be there. Jeff Ryle in that Pocket Rocket Peugeot 106 GTI. We heard from Sean Deacon a moment ago. He's back out in that class-changing Peugeot 106. So he's changed a few things on that car. Excuse me. James McGregor and his Integra. Onto Class C, we've got Jake Alden, which I think, as I said earlier, may well be the joint leader in the championship at the moment in his Saxo. Scott Hughes in his 106, Julian Ellison in the Fiesta, another 106. We heard from Adam Wilkes earlier, the red Peugeot 106. Daniel Sadjadian in the BMW Mini, interestingly in Class C. I'm assuming that's correct, rather than Class E for these ones, but that might be a mistake. We'll find out. Oliver Kingston, Crofton Woodhatch. Hopefully you get more luck this weekend, Crofton. Great to see he was out. Obviously, that's Grantley Woodhatch of Grant Motorsport's son. Toby Wilcox, Erling Jensen, Timothy Roche, Gary Franks, Ben Pemberton, Max Gray, all out in the Class E Minis, which is like a championship within itself in some respect. Sean Govard, good to see him back out in the Citroen AX. Fingers crossed that'll be back to its pocket rocket ways. We've lost Tony Cooper, sadly. Matthew Johnson in his 205 GTI. See, that to me is a hot hatch. As is Craig Tompkinson in that wonderful white Vauxhall Nova. Ross Parker, who had an absolute belter and was this close to being our driver of the day on the last race meeting. So he'll be back out in the Wiltshire College run Honda Civic. And Joe Dorrington, I saw him this last weekend out in his car. Just seemed a little bit off the pace, interestingly, did Joe. So hopefully he's been working on that one, and we'll see how that one goes. Sorry. Corey Webber says, not withdrawn from the hatches, Dorsey, moved across from the saloons. So it probably on my list, it's gone from the saloons, you're in the hatches. Apologies, Corey. Thank you for clearing that one up, mate. That makes it clear. These are my sort of like, these are, beta entry lists, if you will, at the moment that aren't officially on the web. So you ain't seen me, right? But it gives me the chance to talk about it. The saloon. So we talk about the saloon. So Harrison Chamberlain in the Golf. We hear he's had a good test day. Dave Spiller out in that TT. Absolutely incredible to know that Terry TT is out there, and they were so thankful to Grant Motorsport for getting that ready. It was a mess after that. Well, it was flat out. Brakes failed, and he threw it sideways into the rector cell and up over the barriers and back down again. And thankfully, Dave with a few bruises, but was okay. But the car did not look good. So the team and everyone else have done incredible to get that out there. Bill Brockbank in that beautiful Seat Leon Cupra, new for him this year. Absolutely stunning car. Adam Preble, we know how quick he is in that Astra. Pete Elliston in the Golf. Dan Williams in Class B in the Clio, as is Corey Webber, that we just heard from Corey, that he's out there in the saloons in Class B. Darren Griffiths, who we heard. So it's Darren Griffiths that is his first ever race meet out there in the Renault Clio. So looking forward to seeing you out there, Darren. Hopefully give me a shout so I can get some background on you, mate, as well for the commentary. I'll be in the main box for this one again, and can't wait. James Keeping, obviously a past champion. He'll be looking to get that one plate back again, his MGZR. Jez Williams, he was super impressive in that last round. In fact, I think he was our driver of the day on the last weekend, the last race day, sorry, in his Peugeot 106. Tim Swift in the Peugeot 106. James Blake, he's looking good, and I think he's got a tilt for the championship this year in his MGZR. We've lost Oliver Sprague, sadly. Lee Waterman, another one that could be pushing for the championship this year. Wayne Rushworth, we heard from him earlier. Good to hear from you, Waz. And, of course, Mike Good in his Vauxhall Corsa with that #1 plate on there. And Roger Good out is his dad out in the Fiesta. Goose, thank you very much for your comment, mate. Appreciate it. Formula Fords. Now, I've got to remember, we do have an addition to this that let me make I saved it as an image because we do have an addition that I need to read out of context. Tom Radburn is also out in a Class A Spectrum 11. So 72 Tom Radburn is out. But we've got the usual suspects. Felix Fisher, Luke Cooper going at it again. Tom Hawkins, Rob Hall, past champion, and he's looking to go for it this year as well. Rory Smith, Alicia Hamlin out in a Class A car. Alex Walker. Alex Kite's back out as well. So look at that. 97, Alex Kite out in a Kevin Mills run Spectrum. That I'm looking forward to. From memory, he was really impressive when he went out. If you remember, he was the Audi TT driver in the saloons a couple of years ago. Andrew Rackstraw as well is out in a Kevin Mills run Spectrum. Class B, Vincent J, Nathan Ward, Sean Macklin and Sam Street. So we got 4 cars in Class B. Class C, we got Tom MacArthur, Richard Earl, David Cobbold. In Class D, we've got Peter Hannum and Sam Mitchell. So we got a couple of really lovely classics. Another night coming out with Peter Hannum was an addition to what I had. Has Michael Phillips retired, says Mike Cotton? I don't know is the answer, Mike, I'm afraid. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. I'm not sure of the answer. So that is the entry list. Fairly healthy. We may well still have a few late entries as well, but even as it is now, that is looking very, very healthy. And I'm really excited about that one. Oh, we did lose Sean Macklin from those Formula Fords. Did I say? Yeah, so sadly, we've lost one of those Class Bs. Sean Macklin is out. So it still leaves 3 of them. And it just looks like it's going to be a cracking race day again. So we've got all the action underway from 8:30 a.m. qualifying. We've got 6 qualifying sessions. Then we've got 3 races before lunch: the South Cerny Engineering Saloon Car Championship, the Modified Ford Series, and the Samco Sport Hot Hatch Championship. During the lunch, it is the Gulf Race Fuels Formula Ford 1600 Championship that will be a grid walk. So if you're at the circuit and you fancy it and the timing's okay, that it doesn't stop it and all of that sort of stuff, then it will be the Formula Fords that will be on the grid and we'll open up the gates and you can get on and do a grid walk. That obviously means that the first race after lunch is the Formula Fords. Modified Ford Series, Race 2, South Cerny Engineering Saloon Car Championship, Race 2. Then we've got the mini endurance race of the Sports 2000s, 50 minutes with a pit stop. It will still be absolutely wicked for that one. You will love those cars. The Samco Sport Hot Hatch, Race 2, Modified Ford Series, Race 3, the Gulf Race Fuels Formula Ford 1600 Championship, Race 2, and then rounding out the action is the Dave Allan Trophy. We've got no GTs this event, but some of them, as you saw, are coming out in the Dave Allan Trophy, which I think was pretty much one of the intentions for that one as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed race day. I can't wait to see you all. I shall be, as I say, in the paddock in the morning. I shall try and wander around and catch up with as many of you as possible, get my prep and set up all ready, and then I'll be in the commentary box early for this one because 11:25 first race, so I'll need to be in the box by probably about 11 o'clock. So it only gives me 2 or 3 hours to catch up with you all, but I shall try my best. But I shall be just as excited as you, in all honesty, and I'll be like, let's get this race day underway. Thank you so much for joining us. You've all been piling in wonderfully with your comments and questions. You've made our guests feel really welcome, and I know that from the comments that they put. And they're looking forward to it just as much. So have a great bank holiday weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday. I've actually got a rare weekend off Saturday, Sunday, because I've got a few other things I need to do. But I shall be there bright and breezy on Monday morning. But from Combe TV, thank you so much for joining us. Let's go racing. It's Mayday Madness.